Chair recognizes the gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Butterfield, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is utterly disappointing that Donald J. Trump chose to use the court of public opinion in his attempt to defend against a civil fraud claim involving Trump University. Last week, Donald Trump made disparaging statements about the trial judge. He suggested that the trial judge is incapable of objectively judging the case because of his Mexican heritage. He went on to say that the judge was a hater of Donald Trump. The footage, Mr. Speaker, is being played over and over on television. And many of my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, to their credit, have found these statements to be unacceptable. In my humble opinion, Mr. Speaker, these statements rise to the level of contempt of court. They are racially based, and the litigant should be sanctioned. The Trump statements are perceived by millions of people to be race-based and a discredit to the judiciary. It must be addressed. Based on my years as a lawyer and judge, it is clear that if a litigant feels that the judge cannot be fair and impartial in a case, the litigant has a duty to inform his counsel. Counsel then has an obligation to file motions of recusal, setting out with particularity the grounds for the motion. This was not done. And I suspect, Mr. Speaker, it was not done because no evidence of bias even exists. If the attorneys chose to make such a reckless claim, the attorneys would be subject to discipline. What would motivate a litigant in a class action civil fraud case to announce to millions of people that the judge is incapable of objectively judging his case because of his Mexican heritage? It's bizarre. It's suspicious behavior. One explanation is that the litigant, unable to convince his attorney to address these issues in court, wants to intimidate the judge and eventually force the judge off the case, which would slow the administration of justice, postpone the trial for months, even years. The court system, Mr. Speaker, does not work that way. These statements have put the attorneys in an ethical dilemma of whether they should repudiate the statement or not. Codes of professional conduct require an attorney to address client misconduct, address it with the bar, address it with the court, and to seek guidance on further representation. This, Mr. Speaker, is an egregious violation of litigant misconduct. The court and the attorneys bear responsibility for protecting the integrity of the judiciary and the judicial system. Donald Trump's lawyers must avow or disavow this misconduct of their client. The integrity of an independent judiciary is clearly impacted by these inappropriate statements.